Give it up, princess. It's time for the Dark Matter After Show. We're talking Season 3, Episode 5. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome to the Dark Matter After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We're talking Season 3, Episode 5. Give it up, princess. If you haven't already, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Hit subscribe. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. Subscribe there as well. I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm joined by my lovely panel. Hello, lovely panel.
Hello, lovely Yael.
Thanks. That's Tauri J. Miller. Let's start on that end.
Hi, I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me at Tauri J. That's TAURIJAY. Also, I'm in the chat, so if you like to talk to us, talk to me, and I'll talk through you.
Nice. Andrew Mena
So
here.
solid. How do I follow that? Hey guys, I'm Andrew Mena. You can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Mena or on Instagram at the Andrew Mena. Just do it.
And Natalie's here.
Hello, I'm Natalee Dyer. You can find me at Natalee Dyer on all social media platforms. NATALEEDYER.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Right, let us jump into this episode.
We're allowed to jump in these chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you both did it. It was
We did
beautiful.
it.
I want to start with Solara and Five's training because, first of all, Five flipping her over was awesome. And also, we got, like, Solara's backstory.
Yeah, and it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
The path of vengeance, that's fine. That's fine.
I thought it was pretty dope. There were a lot of, like, terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Church of blah, 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 and I was
The
also
seventh
in...
All right,
order
yes.
of something or other.
It was, I got it somewhere. It's the...
Shandareth.
What?
Shandareth.
Yes, Shandareth Monastery,
Okay.
blah, 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 blah. Seventh
Order.
Prioreth of the Seventh Order of Shandareth under the protection of Abbot of Darrow.
See, sometimes I wonder if the writing team goes, oh, this is going to be really important. Or they go, let's try to make the AfterBuzz people say things.
This isn't grim.
I'm sure they sit around being
Stop
like,
and
what can
rewind
we
5
make
times.
Yael say?
Yael says
Yeah.
there was a monastery. I'm going to be real honest. Not really sure what that is.
So,
Monastery?
a
Yes.
monastery?
It's where monks hang out.
You literally
Okay.
don't know what a
Yes.
monastery is.
All three of us
So-
are
So I was recently on another after show where they were talking about where nuns went, and I went, a nunnery?
That's the
Yes,
that's,
get thee to one.
right. That's correct.
I think there's a different term.
A
though.
convent? Is
Sure,
the
that
other-
might be
Yeah,
it.
is
it's
more
a
is a more
convent.
modern term, but it's not incorrect. Like
Oh,
a
okay.
hat maker is also a haberdasher. We just don't say haberdasher. Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
I was raised by foreigners, but also
fine.
I was not
Fun.
raised with monasteries.
That's not many of us have been.
Nope. I
Yes.
think the only reason I know that is maybe Avatar.
Okay, sure.
I feel like the Airbenders sort of lived in monastery
They did.
type.
Yes,
Totally.
worlds. I think that's why.
They were monks. It's where monks
Monks
live.
It's where
Yeah.
monks live.
So if you had
Yeah.
seen Last Airbender or what is that movie? Oh, Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Yep.
Or anything with monks. There's a
Yeah.
scene in which Ace Ventura goes to a monastery to meet with those monks, and you get the
Right.
fun.
Yeah,
This
so if
is
you'd
in
seen Ace Ventura 2, yeah.
But so if you're not a sequels person,
This is great. These
then
are all things I have
definitely-
not seen.
Right.
What? Okay, girl.
I mean,
we got.
this
to
is
get on
why-
it.
So let's start
Anyway,
making
All
a
right.
list of things
So
we
actually, I
need
had
to watch.
issues. I had a lot of issues with this scene because I really love her, and I actually thought that this.
Her Solara,
Her Solara.
Okay.
Her Solara.
We're back to
And I thought that, we're not off of it yet. We're still talking about monasteries. So, like, we haven't diverted yet. So while we're still here, so she says that she's like, I broke my vow when I slit all their throats. Well, you didn't, because you vowed not to use your martial arts against people. I don't think slitting throats in sleep is a martial art thing.
I think being able to sneak
Right.
in and do it without waking anyone.
Right, I thought that too. I was like, yeah, killing everyone without waking any of them is maybe martial art, but the slitting throats part is not a martial art. I feel like
You're splitting hairs here. I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
But I
think that's great.
she
You should
also
always
used-
split hairs.
Yes, she also uses the term "got them killed," the thing that got them killed, which I also thought was really frustrating, like a frustrating term. And it also kind of we talked a little bit before this show about the smile a thing that happens later, and it kind of contributes to this like they had it coming attitude of this show that I really don't like. I really am put off by it, and that she subscribes to this like those monks who like literally were like good like freaking monks, right? They're the best kind of people. They're like committing their souls to like being better or whatever. They got murdered, and it's their fault in some way, and I take offense to that.
Well, I totally see where you're going. Sorry, I totally see your point on that. I would just like to say that in this universe, we're not necessarily sure what these monks, they might not be the best. But Tauri was going to say something.
I mean, yes. I was going to say that the main reason I disagree is that, like, you could assume that she's had a lot of time to kind of think about it. And, like, when you're reflecting on essentially what caused everyone that you know and love to be killed, you go through all these different scenarios. And I would imagine, yes, to her, I mean, from the outside, it could feel like she's blaming them, but like ultimately she's just stating that the reason that they were killed is because they were pacifists, and it meant that they would choose not to fight back over their own lives.
Right. No, and I totally get that, and I see what you guys are saying, but I think language matters, and it just shows that she's like, you know, she holds this resentment, and she's like, it's their fault, and it's like this close to rape culture, and I don't like it.
I totally see what you're saying, and agree that victim blaming should never be an acceptable thing. And
it's because of what the monks were wearing. They had very valuable scrolls. Like, come on, like this is all shitty like excuses.
Wasn't it specifically 2 manuscripts
right.
that they had,
which may come into play later?
I was gonna say, do we think that's coming back?
I mean, she named everything in that order. Like, it has to come back. Otherwise, they're just making Yael say things.
And Yael did not say a single word of it.
She said nothing. You got nothing out of her.
Yeah. Like Grimm, I like everyone else do it.
Right. Well, even if it didn't come back, I feel like this to me feels like a bit of like world building that they've kind of had in their back pocket for a while, and are like, oh man, this would be a great time to just throw this in, so that people just expands the idea of this world, in that we're not really given a lot of kind of religion in this show, but to know that there's a whole order of monks that are essentially just devoted to like meditation and just living is a really interesting piece of just information and world building.
Yeah. I think that the 2, because it was specific to manuscripts. I'm imagining that this monastery had tons of manuscripts and scrolls, but she says we had 2 very valuable ones. And so, did she get them back? Did she steal them back? Did she have those in her possession?
Or did she just kill everybody?
And bounce?
Or it begs the question, are there other chapters of this place? Because all of her friends got wiped out.
Well,
so are there others who will carry on this legacy?
So there must be a 6th order.
I mean...
Is that how it works?
Or is it generational? Yeah.
So,
these are great questions.
I think... going back to the getting themselves killed, I think it might be that she blames herself. And so that might be the self-blamey portion of it. That
could be.
They got themselves killed because I wasn't there and I didn't do anything, and so it was my fault. I'm one of them. I'm to blame.
And maybe she would have broken the vow to not use her, and she could have saved them all.
Sure.
Because she broke it anyway.
Right.
I think it's probably how she's thinking.
But I love that we get this backstory on Solara because she's all we know so far is that she's amazing.
Yeah, she's the badass.
Yeah, especially when she gets her butt handed to her by 5. Loved it.
She gets flipped pretty readily.
Yeah. Did you sleep from the chat?
You
look like you sleep from the chat.
Is
it a correction?
It's not a correction.
Great.
Melissa wanted to add in to my list of shows with monasteries, Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I saw that.
Thank you.
Also, Sarah Brock was acknowledging that Natalee didn't raise her hand.
Oh, good job.
Hey.
You've learned.
Look at you.
Oh, boy.
She's graduated.
I love it.
She's part of the panel now.
Awesome. Speaking of 5 flipping over Solara, we also have a really great video chat. I almost feel like they Skyped. But then I remembered that they're in a different world. And I was like, oh, they FaceTime. No. They video chatted.
Right.
A transmission came in between 5 and 6. And he is doing great and helping this colony become free. And then he's going to go where he's needed. And they'd have this really...
And needed is different than wanted.
Yeah, needed versus wanted, which was so cute. But then he invites Five to visit after the next summit. Which,
Yep.
at that point, I went, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You should come visit. Uh-oh, this ain't happening.
Gosh.
Yeah. Or it'll just be a whirlwind adventure where she goes and she saves the day, and he's like, man, if you hadn't visited when you did, we would have been in such hot water.
If we were in an 80s cop movie, that's exactly how it would work.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
I'm getting too old for this. Don't worry. And then she grabs the big gun.
She's like,
Love
I
it.
brought Bubba.
Oh,
Wow, her
snap.
voice got real deep there.
Oh, sorry. I brought Bubba.
No.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
It was better
I'll
the first
work on it. I'll work on it, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so that was a really cute little scene.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the main part of this episode, which was all about Tabor's girlfriend, Ambrosia.
Yes,
I
Amber.
wrote it down. It's
And-
Or Amber for short.
And Gorn.
What?
Gorn,
Gorn is
the
the
guy,
guy,
the guy
yes.
who just stand there. And,
So fun fact,
Goran.
Goran is, I believe,
Gorn.
a wrestler or a UFC fighter, or like that man is someone tough and big and scary, and real pretty to look at.
Yes.
That's who he
Okay.
is.
It's a fun fact. He's real pretty to look at, you guys.
He is. But so Ambrosia, I really want to call her Rosacea, and I don't know why.
That's not the same thing.
No. She's being held hostage. Adrian is in love with her. And so we have this whole like thing on having to trade a data file that may or may not be important for this woman who may or may not be important.
Right?
Was anyone surprised at the end that she was on in? No, you're all shaking your head.
No, I
Not
called
even a
it
little.
as soon as he like went to touch her face and she was like jerked away. I was like, oh yeah, you're acting. That's acting. That is right there. That's a don't touch
Literally?
me because we need to look like we're
So
not
they're
together.
acting like they're acting.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
That might explain a lot.
Inception.
Yes. I liked that she was I liked that she was playing him because it made her not like a damsel.
Yes.
Essentially she was the one in control the whole time, which really like I liked, and I hope since she's still alive, spoiler alert, that she's
Whoa,
able
what?
to come back. Yeah, she's still alive.
Wait, I stopped. I tuned out right after her scene.
It happens, I know.
Dang it. And that's not true.
I agree. I really love that we don't have damsels in distress.
Oh,
on
not
this
at
show.
all.
No,
No,
not
one
one.
of our damsels have ever been like. Yeah.
No, yeah.
That noise specifically, though. they've
Yeah, that
never-
definitely never that.
You're right. They haven't. So we go on this wild goose chase. I got so annoyed. I was like 3 in this episode when they were like, "It's not here. It's not here. It's." I was like, "Great. I hate Adrian right now."
Yeah.
I think 3 should have shot him in the leg.
Why?
Yeah, I would have seen that. Yeah.
Because that's
He
what
shot
3
the other android in the back of the head.
He was like, "This is
he's-
taking too long."
He's fine with shooting everybody anywhere.
It was
Yeah.
a stun gun.
So he could shoot him in the leg with a stun
Yeah.
gun.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
Okay.
So this is one of the
Here's
things
why.
because I actually I
Yes.
really didn't like him shooting him in the back of the head, but it's a stun gun. So like if that's a thing, just shoot everybody all the time. Like you can shoot anybody, and there's no consequences.
The answer to your why
Yes.
is because 3 is the impatient one, and at this point they have been on a crazy wild goose chase because Adrian is in love with this girl, and 3 does not have time or patience for Adrian's garbage. He doesn't have time or patience for anybody's garbage. So the idea that 3 would be like, "I'm not dealing with this, we're done," and shoot him in the leg feels totally reasonable.
I get him being done. I don't get shooting him in the leg.
Just feels like something 3 would do.
You don't think 3 would just shoot a guy
No,
just because he
because
feels
it
like
does-
it?
there's-
Because he feels like it.
Because they can solve it, they can fix it on the ship.
He
It'll
just
be
shoot a
fine.
man in Space Reno just to watch him space die.
He wanted to space. He wanted to space 5 when they first met her.
Right. That was also.
Yeah.
That was also Boone.
I know.
That's true.
Whatever.
I just don't get. I think I'm really stuck on the impracticality of like
Shooting
shooting him in the leg as opposed to just like bunking him on the head
just
or
love-
just like
Because he deserves more
removing
than
himself.
a bunk on
But
the
here's
head.
Yeah.
my thing.
Okay.
Like, for a comedic point of view, if you can stun people, can you just stun just body parts? And
Yes.
can you just put his leg to sleep
That
and just
would
have
be
him dragging that around?
Like an
Because
Ender's
that's
Game?
hilarious.
I
Yes.
love it.
Let's Ender's Game some stuff, Malozzi. It'd be super fun.
I don't think that's how it works. Okay.
Well, not with that
So
attitude.
while
sure.
we're looking for this data file, we end up getting Adrian and 5 arrested, which leads to Anna Devereaux. That's right, the android named Anna Devereaux. I finally got what I wanted.
Did you?
Kind of.
Yeah, Southern android with a boa.
Yeah.
I
She looked so good. Yes.
She had
I
that
still think her
feathery
name
boa.
should be Andy. Just to go with our previous set of names, we had Roidy, Reddy, and Andy.
See, we didn't
I
have
guess we
that.
go with Randy if you guys want. Because she's also very like sensual when she's human.
So she's
I'm gonna
Randy?
update it, Randy. Roidy, Reddy, Randy.
Yeah, because you're going to remember how to say
I'm not
all
gonna
of them.
remember any of those. I still don't remember any of those.
And I think the sexiest thing she said was, I don't date guys whose asses I've kicked.
And she dropped her accent.
That down too.
She dropped the Southern completely. That was
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
great.
She
so
was
great.
done.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's done with the thing.
But I love the flirting scene with
Oh.
her. And he's like, we should get drinks. Oh, no, we can't do that.
Not-
Like, and just the back and forth of that scene was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that's my new line.
my favorite line was when he's like, "I've been practicing tying my knots."
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh,
That's
okay.
some game right there, son.
I was gonna say, well, the first thing he said was like, first of all, I've never heard this phrase. Look at those baby browns. I've never heard baby browns.
They're not. That's
It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
As someone with
You're trying to make
brown
a thing
eyes,
happen.
Not a thing.
I've never heard it, and I've never heard it said with that confidence. He sold baby
Yeah,
browns. I
he
was
really
like,
did.
is that a thing? I had to like look it up. No, it's not.
No.
He's just doing it. He's selling it.
I mean, say it with confidence and people will believe it, obviously.
Yeah. Promote that actor. I hope to see him later in the GA.
Yes.
People don't like my name. Kiara Pilgrim and Sarah Brock are not fans.
Yeah.
I really
but-
like when the chat turns against
Ooh,
you.
I have one. Bo Android. Because you have Boa and then Android. Bo Android.
Ah.
We don't have a B
The-
one.
Yeah, but the big,
a different
the
letter.
big issue of calling her Bo is
There's a
Lost
character
Girl.
name?
Yes. Also, Melosi's
I'll
down
explain
to
that
do,
later.
Okay.
Down for Ender's Game stuff.
Yeah! Woo!
Great. Okay, so we end up with getting to the private storage area on the neutral territory, where we meet our security android. He was so pleasant.
He was. He was
I
cute.
love that.
Yeah.
He was very nice for a security.
Yeah, I was actually like, I have like questions about the programming of security droids in
Yeah,
this world.
right.
Go
Like,
on.
you're just allowed to, like, there's just a certain capacity of words they're allowed to be like, yes, of course, you're not hurting anyone. Let me just listen to you, even though I'm supposed to just detain or hurt, like, destroy anyone that comes in this.
Detain.
Yeah.
Detain.
They're to be detained until Tabor returns. That's the best. Is that
Yeah.
not? I'm not calling the cops. I'm not arresting
Just
you.
holding them.
You're
I'm not
in
beating
this
you.
prison.
You're just stuck here now until someone comes with more authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, does he feed them then? Does he keep them alive like pets until the person
That's a great question.
returns?
Probably. I
Yeah.
feel like as an android,
I would have loved that scene where he just like feeds them in a silly
like
little
a
I
dish.
made a
later.
casserole. Stir that-
And the joke continues. Yes. More casserole salads.
so amused.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
So then our android, who stays with her human-y version, comes up with the solution to offer him his freedom, essentially.
Right.
And she also mentions like how strong he is, and if three just goes in there guns blazing, like that's not gonna go well. And it's like, oh well, all right. I love that. I love that she's able to talk him through. I just don't believe that she's able to get in a room with a security droid and just that's fine.
Well,
I just wish
the way she entered was clearly
yeah,
like
she's totally
Non-threatening.
non-threatening, and as an android understands how to address the other android,
Right.
and that if because three is impatient and has a
Yeah.
temper and would shoot him in the leg,
Yeah.
was
Yeah, how did he get behind him, by the way? Like
he entered
that
through
was-
the other door.
I guess he did. There are more doors. Checks out.
Yeah. But I love that even after he's down, 3 says leave the upgrade for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him make his choice.
So sweet
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
androids get choice.
I love it too. I'm so excited for that android to come back
Yes.
and the end swath of androids.
I had an issue
there gonna
with
be an
him
Android war?
leaving the
Yes.
Yes.
upgrade because I imagine like if she wanted to give that to someone else, now it's just hanging out in this storage locker.
Well, maybe she probably made copies. You don't think the android can make copies of a
Because
thing?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, that must be a copy because
She has
it.
hers.
Yeah.
Right.
She doesn't have 5 of them.
Well, I figured it was like a...
You upgrade,
like-
you take it out, you
Yeah.
give it to another computer.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like when you're sharing your like...
Your needles.
Photoshop.
Yeah, your Photoshop. I was gonna go with
mean,
OS
totally don't
discs,
have that.
which don't exist anymore.
Right. Your AOL.
Your OS
Yeah.
discs? Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
I remember those.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good old days. Yeah, when they were looking for the data file, I was like, is it on a floppy? Tell me it's on a floppy. I don't know why. In my head, it was on a floppy.
There was a clock last episode.
That's true.
Why can't there be a floppy?
Yeah, I imagine that the youngins watching this go, this is a floppy.
What's a floppy? What's a clock?
I used to play with the little
Analog,
slider.
dog.
Yeah,
You just sit there and play with the slider. It's
yeah,
like,
until you break it.
Yep. And then you're in trouble.
Oh, the good times.
Melizzi confirms it's a software update. I am correct. Ha 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 ha!
Didn't we all agree? We all
We
said
did.
it,
I just wanted to
So the
make it
question
known
is,
that you were
that
right,
I was right.
as were we.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you guys were just agreeing to my rightness.
I think we were saying that
Yes?
she made copies of the
Okay.
software.
Do you guys remember Oslo syndrome? That was funny.
Oh yeah, it's like Stockholm.
He's like, do you have Oslo syndrome or whatever? When he's
Oh yes, you're
To
going
the-
back to the Ambrosia
Yeah.
storyline.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So they get the file.
So they get the file. And then they go to trade for rosacea, and she's
Right.
in on it.
Yep.
Ambrosia,
Rosacea.
you happy?
No, it was rosacea.
Okay.
Okay. And Android and 5 try to break the encryption. It's going to take weeks. And then it turns out that she has it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm ready for this to take weeks. And like in 3 episodes when we forgot all about it, then be like, we figured it out.
Here's the reveal.
No, she
Nope,
had
she
the decryption.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
in a locket.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of instantaneous like satisfaction the last couple of
I'm
episodes.
just not
I
used
mean-
to
You're
that.
like,
Yeah.
it's gonna take forever, and then they're like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
I feel like the show hasn't done that before.
Mixing up the game.
Maybe
on us.
I complained too much before.
Maybe.
I'm like, well, I want to know now.
I mean, I'd
Sounds right.
also like to imagine that like they have so much they have so much ground to cover, as we
Yeah.
learned last week.
Oh,
yeah.
that they're just like, we're
Yeah.
gonna just do this and it's done.
Full steam ahead.
No problem.
Yep.
You guys were sitting there, but I was like, is this the double cross? The double cross? Wait, now it's like a triple cross. Is it triple? Wait, what is happening?
When
I'm gonna assume everything is.
Yeah,
Yes.
everything
we were
is what
watching
happened.
the double cross.
Yeah, we were watching
Yeah.
you guess every couple seconds. You're like, this is the thing, right? These are the black ships? Pretty sure these are the black ships.
I don't. I think when we get to those things, I'd like
We'll
to
know?
believe that we will know.
Yeah.
That Android will go. This is this thing I was told would happen.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna assume that
She's still gonna guess
everything.
every time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, when Ambrosia was like, "No, but I really loved you," I was like, "Girl,
Girl.
even he's not that dumb."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was, yeah. In this way, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I felt like she was like a Misaki. Her name's Misaki, right? Misaki adjacent. She was basically Misaki because she was just like, I'm just trying to manipulate in whatever way I can. This is what you want to hear, right?
Interesting. Well, we will get to Misaki in a
Okay,
second.
that's Knives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Is that what you're calling her?
Yeah.
In my mind, she's always gonna be Knives from
Okay.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Great.
Just saying.
Before we get to Misaki, because we have a lot still to talk
Yes.
about, I want to take a moment to thank everybody. We do the show for free for you because we love talking about this show, and we couldn't do it without a wonderful sponsor. Andrew, tell us about our sponsor.
You guys, I want to talk to you about underwear. It's the best topic to talk about in a group of mixed-gendered people. It's
I
the best.
agree.
Yes.
And you know what the best place for underwear is? MeUndies. MeUndies.com, in fact. It's a website. It's got underwear. You've probably heard of it before here on the internet. Yeah, I think so. They have all kinds of colors and patterns. They release new limited edition patterns every month, and they always sell out. This month's patterns were designed by the legendary 80s clothing brand Cross Colors, so that's pretty rad. Legendary is not an often thing that I put on my body, so if you get to have legendary underwear, that's pretty great. We actually have a pretty rad 20% off your first pair code for you. You receive free shipping as well, only at MeUndies.com/buzz. That's our code. You just hit MeUndies.com/buzz. If you don't love your first pair of MeUndies, they're free. So there's no risk. No risk at all. You just get some underwear, you guys.
That's great.
You could be swaddled in them right now. Get 20% off your first pair. That's I already mentioned it all. So that's everything you need to know about MeUndies.com. Get there. Get underwear. That's all I have to say.
MeUndies.com/buzz.
/buzz.
Yeah.
And I believe Natalie is wearing
I am.
MeUndies.
That's great. Check her Instagram. she'll be posting those later. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Well, damn, now I feel like I have to.
You definitely do.
The fans want it, Natalie. I'm just
So
kidding.
thank you to MeUndies, but also thank you so much to our fans. Thank you to everyone who is live in the chat with us.
Yes.
Thank you to Mr. Malozzi, who joins us almost every week when he has time. We appreciate it.
We love you.
Thank you to everybody. We ask you to do a very simple thing. Go to iTunes, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode, and rate and review. If you like us, you can give us 5 stars. If you don't like us, you can give us 4 stars. The other stars, they
Do not work. Bringing it
We're
back.
bringing it back by popular request. You'll learn.
Apparently, I have lots to learn.
Yes. But that was requested that we bring that back,
Yes.
and we do things that were requested sometimes.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Catch yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That could-
Sorry. So we have a review, Tari?
We have 2 reviews today.
What?
2 wonderful 5-star reviews from our wonderful fans.
Are we bringing back sexy voice, Tari?
Oh, we could be.
Oh.
But I might need some music.
Anthony in the booth, can we find some sexy, I think it's sexy jazz music, if you just
we
type
need
that into
some
YouTube?
Sexy jazz.
Sexy jazz.
I'm gonna bring it down right here.
Yeah, the first one, I think.
Yeah.
Tari, you just start.
I'm gonna
Start
start
reading.
going, guys. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. 5 stars from Stephen H.R. Psychic boning. Need I say more? That's it.
That's the review?
That's the
That's a
review.
great review.
That's a great review.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the information you need.
And we got a doozy. All right, we got dark matter everywhere. I've clearly made a mess. 5 stars by Free GX1. So much love, only love. Y'all are hilarious. Of course, 5 stars, duh. Comedy. R-rated humor for the adults. Thanks, Yael. The thirst is real. Sex, 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 and more sex. Why not? Insightful and passionate. It's my kind of show.
Wow.
Keeps me non-stop laughing. Everyone is precious.
That was beautiful.
Whoa.
Thank
wow.
you.
And it looks like there's more to that review.
Oh my God. No,
Just a question.
Okay.
Oh, hold on to that later. Thank you so much to
That
everyone
was
who writes
awesome.
reviews.
That was great.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Tari,
Yep.
for reading
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whew.
Yep. It's real steamy in here in the AfterBuzz studio, you guys.
We
All
get
right,
them.
get back to my normal voice.
Oh God, the steam cleared right up.
Okay. So let's talk about Rio's whole situation.
Oh man.
So I want to ask you all a question. At this point, do you think, because this is where my brain's at, that assassination attempt and any other deaths that occurred this episode were all Miss Saki's
Yeah,
doing?
fucking
Yes.
duh.
Yeah, totally thought of,
Yeah.
yep.
That'd be dope.
Would it be dope?
I think it would be.
Would it?
Because we know that she's willing to do whatever it takes in order to, I guess, further the Ishida empire. And so it would be fortuitous for her to manipulate him this way. She's tried talking to him, and he's definitely not. He's not having it. And so I like the idea of her kind of I guess Lady Macbething her way through.
Nice.
And see, here's the thing, though, and I'm less. See, I don't think I originally had a problem with it because I was like, oh yeah, I think Tari's right, and that's why I'm so angry. But I think it's because I don't think she's Lady Macbething yet because she's not with Rio. She's trying to get into that position. So that's why I hate all of this because she's essentially this is all about trying to get a relationship.
So
She's
I disagree. I disagree.
You don't think she's trying to be queen?
I think she's realized that ship has sailed when he realized that she killed Nyx. And I think that this is her only way to be in his good graces, is to be like,
Continually
I'm
save
trying
him.
to save your life here.
I
And,
don't
like,
think that
help
she'll
you
ever
rule.
stop trying to get in that throne room, though. I don't think she'll
As-
ever stop
as a
trying to
love.
be. Yeah, exactly. Trying to be his love. She's always going to try.
Natalie?
I don't know if as a love interest
I mean,
really.
exactly. I don't think it's even
I
about
think he's
love.
gonna be, or she's trying to get into the throne.
Exactly.
I think she might even try to overthrow the throne. But the way to do that is to get the people to turn on him, and because she's not dumb. like the school teacher, he says he needs to get the people behind him in order to do it. Don't rule with fear. And yet she's like, no, we're going to rule with fear. And she's pushing that because if she can get the people to turn on him and then be there and be like, actually, I'm here for you, like,
yeah, she could take over.
Ushered into the throne.
Yeah. I think it's really great that we have Teku being like, there are other ways to rule. I've been with the people. They want to love you. You just have to be better to them. And that she knows Rio. She's like, no, you're gonna, if I try to push you this way, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting how well she knows him.
Yeah, and she turns him into such a petulant child, like where he's screaming and he's like, you wanna go, bro? And it's just so like unbecoming and clear that he's lost his reserve, his intelligence.
Listen, he got his memories back and he turned into a real dum-dum.
Yeah, it's so
That's
true.
all I have to say.
His memories had like a real low int. It was terrible.
So we're saying that Rio is dumber than 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least more
Easily
gullible,
manipulated,
I
yeah.
guess.
Maybe.
Sorry. You have your thinking face on.
I think I disagree
With
the idea that he's dumber. I think he's definitely under a lot more pressure. Like 4 had no real responsibilities. He hung out with a group of people. He like learned some morals, and eventually he like realized that his I guess honor was more important than his friendships. And that whole thing, there's still not. It's so leisurely that it doesn't matter. But like now he's in a place where people's lives are on the line. He's trying to protect this empire, so he has a lot more responsibility. And so he's trying to rely on essentially the 2 sides of himself that are manifest, which is his moral side, which is Teku, and then his I guess his lead by fear, like darker id side, which is Misaki. And he's trying so hard to be moral and be a good leader, and that's why he does go forward with trying to help the Timican station, because he really wants that to be a reality in his empire. But like we see at the end of this episode, because he says it himself, he's like, there's no strategic advantage to helping them, and so like he really wants it, but at the same time, like Misaki's right. In a way.
No, she's not. Because you can decide to rule like as an ethical like person and moral and just and honorable, or you can be like a garbage military industrial complex person like his generals in Misaki are forcing him into being.
So I think it's partially the stress of trying to rule and take care of all these people, but I think it's also that he's being impulsive, and that's the issue, is that he needs to calm down.
Impulsive and reactionary. Like he's very like, he gets in people's faces. He's like, bro, did you call me something, bro? Like, and it's like, bro, calm down, bro.
Girl, you've said bro too many times.
Just enough.
Here's the thing. Oh, go ahead. No,
sorry.
He can say.
I was just gonna say,
everything.
he says she's so
speak.
misunderstood. Misaki was right in the advice she gave him.
What advice?
So the advice to let Timican fall.
Interesting.
So take that however you'd like, but
thing is
that's
that
what was said.
But what is it to be right about something like that? Like, what does that even mean?
She was right.
Because
like,
it still fell, and it sacrificed a lot of troops.
right, and also it was a trap.
Right. Gotcha.
But also, instilling loyalty and pride in your people is really important, because if you do, say, lose a station, like, I mean, Poland, when the Nazis took over there, they had, rebels that they technically surrendered, but the people kept fighting for their city in, like, really, really low, like, underhanded ways, and just, like, messed things up the entire time. So as long as you still have people who are that loyal to you or their city or, their nation, then you're solid. But if you have ones who are like, no, man, we fell, I'm switching to this person.
Man, and I mean, he's publicly
So that's what you want.
people,
But he's,
so like...
exactly. So Rio's losing ground in that sense.
Yeah.
Well, so as you were saying, he decides that he's decided he's going to rule with fear.
Yeah. It's the only tool he's got.
Yeah.
I guess.
Which anyone who knows Once Upon a Time, you don't want to have everyone to fear you.
I've never seen them watch TV in this show, or have they? Have we seen TV in this world?
No, only
Okay.
news.
GNN.
I was gonna say, did I miss the TV episode?
No.
Where's the TV episode, Melody?
Yeah.
do
What
they
shows
watch
exist?
TV?
The security androids are like, have you guys seen The Flash? It's just kind of like the pipeline.
Have you seen Game of Thrones? It's season 5 million.
Anyway, so he decides that he's going to rule with fear, and that he's going to gather the assassins' friends and family, because
Yes.
an example must be made.
Because okay,
Which we will discuss more in the predictions.
God.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But the last thing that we saw in this episode was Commander Neiman, who I believe is from Ferris Corp. And he says the war is going... He's giving us his captain's log, which is great, because it's, I need to give you all story.
I like that he
Yeah.
opened with his name. He's like, this is who I am if you don't remember. I'm Captain Neiman. Hey, see you guys later.
Captain Marcus Neiman.
I literally asked, I was like, wait, who was that? He'd said his name.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, wait.
Oh, Commander Neiman. I apologize, not
Oh,
Captain.
sorry, Commander.
I have Commander written.
Yeah, I have Commander written as well, but
Okay.
it was his captain's log. Commander Neiman, the war is going according to plan, and we estimate that in 6 months we'll be done. But the independent colonies have organized faster than anticipated. Thank you for all of this information that we need for the story. We're moving up the timetable. We're going to take out any colony that is not under the Ferris umbrella. So yes, he's for Ferris Corp. It is time to use Agent Zero, and then we see 6.
Bum bum bum.
Which is funny, because isn't 6 kind of the reason the independent colonies have organized faster than
Yes.
anticipated?
Yep.
Right.
I think because that's all we know from this moment, and we have a lot still to talk about Rio and Ferris Corp, we should head into predictions. Nope.
I like
I like you guys making
Let's go.
Okay, so here's what we see in the promo for next week. Rio is making a show of taking out disloyal citizens. Truffaut is angry with the Raza, but 2 claims they had nothing to do with it. We don't know what it is. And he shouts, "They targeted me and I will respond with force." Rio.
Yes.
Is it safe to assume this was my what?
You just Rio.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
We should make a shirt. You guys should make a shirt. This is Rio.
I think that it seems like, based on just the trailer and my thoughts that Misaki is pulling strings here, that she's going to suggest that the Raza were the ones who hired the assassin, and then Truffaut is going to ask them why they would be so stupid to do that, and 2 is going to say, we had nothing to do with it. And then he's going to say, they targeted me, I'll respond for it. So that's going to be Misaki leading him to murder his own people, or his own friends himself, rather than trying to send assassins and peoples. That's my prediction.
Good.
I think that they targeted me and I will respond with force is actually in reference to the original assassin attempt.
Okay.
And he is saying they because he is executing or
The
making an
family.
example of the family and the friends.
Okay.
And this is probably more of a speech, sort of, as to why he is doing it.
Okay.
I have no idea about why the Raza stuff. I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
to be
All right.
honest.
This is the werewolf episode. Just kidding. All right, so we definitely have another, not definitely, but this is my hope, is that we have another alternate universe episode, and we have the team from the other universe, and they come into this universe, and then they're working for somebody we don't know.
Oh.
Maybe Phoenix Project has something to do with another drive that
we jumped over
those ships
Yes.
got out of there, like, they were 6 months away from being done, so they got done in crazy undertime, and then they jumped forward, so who's to say that other worlds or other universes or time travel aren't at play here. So I think we're getting alternate universe Raza crew. They're going to do some bad stuff because they're real bad. And then maybe he's going to respond. Maybe you're right. I like that better, that it's about the family. But maybe he's like, I'm going to respond in kind because he just saw like he's 4. He just saw 3 walk up and shoot at somebody or something on his team.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I want more of those alternate universe people, though.
I do like
Yeah.
the idea that maybe because the Raza went and saw Project Phoenix and all that, that maybe that's what Truffaut is asking about, is like, what are you getting yourselves involved in?
That's true, too.
Okay. I have a theory
Yes?
about mostly the Truffaut thing. Truffaut.
Yeah.
Is referring to things. Nope. That maybe whomever came over from the other dimension, when we dimension hopped, is wreaking havoc, and so now we're seeing the fruits of that.
I like that.
Ken from Chicago thinks that 6 will be brainwashed to wipe out the very colony he saved.
Yes.
Thus, resulting in him return to the Raza crew.
We all, I think, have the same thought that he is he doesn't know that he's a sleeper agent.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I also have a theory that 3 and Android, because of their wonderful, hot, sexy scene, will eventually hook up, and then he'll be like, no, I have Sarah. And she'll be like, I can be Sarah. And then that's
Oh,
That's
I like
great.
that prediction.
And awful
Thanks.
and great.
I actually like more the prediction of her being like, I could be Sarah, like I could bring out Sarah.
Right.
Yeah.
Less, because 3 is already, I don't know if you guys remember this, but 3 and Anders have a thing.
Right. Well,
Therefore, he
Right.
doesn't, he's not
Oh,
good. Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
3 does sleep around, but that's not the point.
they call him 3 because that's his minimum sexual
Number of
partners. Yeah.
At any given
At a time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Right.
like it.
Of course.
That makes the most sense.
There was something else that you said that was so good and I lost it. Do you have another prediction?
Oh, I thought I did. I wanted to say something about Truffaut and what Truffaut said, but I can't remember. Truffaut? I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember.
I like that better. I can say that.
I'll try to think.
Frou-frou.
While you're thinking about it, Malozzi says, assuming Agent 0 refers to 6.
Right.
That's
Dun,
true.
dun, dun.
Yeah, that was also very likely that it was not referring to him at all.
Right.
But that's just how they
That he's the
should.
target.
Yes.
I was going to say that he could also be
Also a
the
good point.
I guess if he was Agent 0, they probably have a more like official photo of him than like a security
It
camera.
would also be
of him.
really...
Security. It was video and then it stopped.
Whatever it was.
How did you lose connection there?
I get what they might be doing though, because
Wi-Fi
like
dropped
it would
out.
also be very frustrating for the team to be like 6 is evil again. What? I don't understand. Is he evil today or is he not evil today? I don't know.
You
double cross.
How do I
like
keep
a double
track?
cross?
Yeah, the double deception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
See, I'm like, you
even
do it.
further, what if he gets wind of it and then he can double cross the people who think they're in charge of him? Triple cross, quadruple cross.
Yeah, but
I like that it was a triple quas.
Triple cross. Triple cross.
If he is a sleeper agent, though, would it wipe his personality again?
Oh my god, you guys. What if everyone in the Raza is a sleeper agent and they've all been sleeper agents the whole time?
And that's why their memories were taken from
What
them.
if it comes back
God.
to Android's creator?
It's a 3-season long con.
I love it. I think that Project Phoenix is definitely something that will come back into play, mostly because we went and went,
definitely.
where are the ships?
Where'd it go?
Oh,
Yes.
which is when I said, wait, are these the black ships?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Totally.
that's a fair guess there.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. They were ships.
These
They were
guys
black.
are
Yeah,
making
come on.
fun of me.
I do really like the idea that whoever came back on the alternate Marauder is involved in whatever is happening next week.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we have to deal with that.
Yes. Because we get that shot of 2 punching Android. Why?
I actually thought that scene was Android being like, I've buffed up my medals. Test it out. And then she gets it. That's what I thought it was.
Okay.
That's more fun.
Right? That
I
feels
think
right.
Android is my favorite.
Wow. Don't say things like that. That we pick no favorites here.
Right.
So she's allowed to.
I'm allowed to.
Yeah,
'cause
you're allowed to
I'm
pick
new.
a favorite as long as you use the proper name.
Which one?
Randy.
It depends on
It's
which
not
Android she
Randy.
likes.
That's true. Which
Yeah.
one
I
do
would
you
argue
like?
that Randy's the worst name.
I think that is the
Just
worst
not
one.
You're allowed to have
not
an
for the
opinion.
Android,
Well,
just in
this
general.
sounds like a conversation we should have after we finish.
Right,
Thank you all
sorry.
so much for joining us.
Yes.
Until next week, Tauri, where can people find Anders Lives shirts and you on the internet?
You can find me at TariJ, TORIJAY. You can find Anders Lives shirts at redbubble.com/people/OTTs. That's OTTEES. OTTs. Your OTP.
Good job.
Thank you.
Nice.
Andrew.
I'm Andrew Mena. You can find me on Twitter at Andrew Mena or on Instagram at the Andrew Mena. If you like Dungeons and Dragons or D&D podcasts, check me and Natalee out on our D&D podcast, Welcome to the Dungeon Hole, available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and we also have a Twitter at Dungeon Hole, DUNGEONHOLE.
I'm Natalee Dyer, and you can find me at NATALEEDYER, Natalee Dyer, on Instagram and Twitter and Tumblr and all of the other social media stuff.
Awesome! I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And coming up right after this show is the Killjoys After Show, because we're back. That's right. All 3 of the summer sci-fi shows have returned. So stick around for Killjoys right after this. Next week, Winona Earp at 3, Dark Matter at 4, Killjoys at 5. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Busy.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.